Hey everybody, I'm Laura DiCarlo of Career Directors International. If you're starting, currently thinking about starting, or actively building a resume writing or career coaching business, I'm so glad you've joined me today. In this show, we share tools, strategy, and mindset tips that lead to your ultimate success without the stress. We're currently streaming on CDI's Facebook page, YouTube channel, and LinkedIn page. But listen, the platforms they always have issues, and I'm not gonna ask you to opt in. I'm just gonna ask you when you comment in the chat, just share your name the first time so I know who I'm talking to. And if you don't know me yet, my goal is to become your not so secret superpower. At Career Directors International, we provide everything you need to love and excel at what you do so you can make a difference while earning an exceptional living as a career industry professional. So today's topic, no more excuses, 6 TORI resume award blocks busted. I'll put that up here on the screen while I'm talking. I'm going to be abolishing the myths and answering the questions that are blocking you from prioritizing the Tories and the high ROI they have been known to provide for resume writers who get nominated or win. But first, let me ask you to say hello in the chat. Go ahead and give me your name the first time again so I know who you are, because often it's going to show me LinkedIn participant or Facebook participant, and I don't know who I'm talking to. Second, this is a Q&A topic, so while I'm sharing questions that I've been asked repeatedly in the past, if you have questions, please share them in the chat as we go. And third, be sure to like, follow, and or subscribe depending on the platform you're on so you don't miss when I go live. Okay, so you possibly have TORI award doubts and questions, and I've got motivation for you and answers today. I'm going to start with the 6 big blocker questions, but if you've arrived with a question, again, please drop it in the chats. All right, I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet. Again, please introduce yourself. Let me know who is here. And before I answer those questions, let me know in the chat who's entered the Tories before or plans to enter this year. If you plan to or you have, give me a yes in the chat. And I want to tell you a little bit about the Tories because I know they are new for some of you. So, the TORI resume writing competition, which stands for Toast of the Resume Industry, has been consecutively running for 25 years now. The TORI winner page is the most popular page on our website, and we do have winners and nominees tell us that it is the single best thing they do to gain business. And you can see tons and tons of video and written testimonials on the TORI page, which I will definitely be sharing with you as we go here today. So the Tories have 10 categories each year. And some of those categories are what we call classic design, meaning they're not filled with who can up the ante and having the most beautiful full color presentation. Those only fit in some scenarios. And we didn't want to see the competition become all about that. So you're going to have categories that say nothing, and that means that they're high design, and others that say classic. So 10 categories, 5 chances for nomination in each category, a first, second, and third place in each category, meaning there are 50 nominees each year and 30 winners. Those are really great statistics, especially when I tell you that on average, 40 something to 70 something people enter each year. Now, if they're smart, they enter multiple categories, but it's a lot of opportunities, especially in today's world where standing out and having bona fide qualifications that help you let job seekers know that you're a safe bet for quality excellence and knowledge, that that's something that we absolutely need, because you've probably been seeing my posts. There are so many scams out there today, and so many things that people are faking, that having an award in a known competition is definitely a win-win, whether we're in this economy or any other. So um, this year, this is the third show I've done on Tories. In my first show this season, I talked about the ROI of entering. And in the second, I shared tips from winners and judges to help ensure your success. So before I get into crushing these 6 barrier questions, it is important to know that the Tories are an amazing vehicle. And I would honestly give up CDI leadership today to go after awards if I could. That is the absolute truth because nothing ever made my life easier in getting clients to trust and invest in me than having awards. So I will you can go to the TORI page at any time, and let me just change what I have on the screen here, and I'll go ahead and put up the TORI page. This is where you can find replays of the last 2 lives I did on the topic and where you can find information on the awards. So, all right, I'm not seeing anything in the chat, but if you are ready to start exploring these blocks and questions holding resume writers back from entering and winning in the Tories, give me a yes in the chat. And remember, if you have questions as we go, share them in the chat. And if this is your first time commenting today, give me your name, since I don't know whether the platform is going to show it to me or not. All right, nothing in the chat. Let's start with our first common question slash reason why people sometimes avoid the Tories. I don't do fancy resumes or use design software, so why should I enter? Well, again, as I was saying a few moments ago, we have what we call classic design categories in the Tories. And let me look at my list here. Our classic categories are classic difficult transitions, classic sales, classic executive, and classic new graduate for 2025. So these are all categories where you actually, I think it can be actually more difficult than a high design category because you are forced to make a resume visually distinctive without falling back and relying on color and splash. So you don't have to do, even for the high design categories, you don't have to use design software. 80% of what is submitted and wins in the Tories was created directly in Microsoft Word. So it's not about fancy. It's about or having to invest in special software. It is about having the skill to write first and to secondly create documents that are visually distinctive, which again, classic categories are perfect for if you aren't into doing these more networking based resumes. But a caveat, we have Marie Platt, multi-time Tory winner, who has so graciously shared multiple tutorials within CDI membership that are free to CDI members, teaching them how to make designed resumes ATS friendly right within Microsoft Word. She's also created a tutorial that she says it's her entire bag of tricks that if you wanted to go beyond, I think the 6 tutorials we have for free for members, it's only $299 available through CDI to learn everything that she does. So if you want to do fancy, there's no excuse to. But if you're avoiding the Tories because you think they have to be fancy, no. In fact, interestingly enough, no matter how gorgeous a resume might be that makes it to the Tory front-facing winners, um, it's writing that the judges will always look for first and foremost. I sometimes get asked, "Why didn't my resume get submitted? It looks just as good" not submitted, sorry, nominated. "It looks just as good as the ones that are nominated." And time permitting, I will go and I will look, and every single time, it might be like a jaw-droppingly beautiful resume that makes you go, "Oh my gosh, I need to lean in and pay attention." But if the writing isn't there, if the writing isn't equal to the best overall resume, it's not gonna hit the mark. So, you don't have to do fancy resumes, especially with the classic categories, and you don't have to use fancy design software to accomplish what other resume writers are doing for their clients and for the Tories. All right, still nothing in the chat. If you have questions on that, let me know, but I'll go on to my second of 6 questions. So, can I enter if I'm not certified, or what if I've only been doing this for a year or so? So, I did group these 2 together because I feel like they're in the same basket, even though I have been asked them separately from those who, maybe were new enough to not be certified, or those who are new to the industry. Listen, sometimes the best solutions, new ideas and strategies come completely out of left field. We might call them, oh, the dark horse that came out of nowhere and won. But if you look back through all the years of the Tories, we may not have resumes out there for every single year of 25 years of winners. But if you look at the names, you will see new names appear on the winner list that were never nominated or existed before. You don't know whether they tried before or not, but quite often somebody just appears and nobody's ever heard of them before, and they suddenly start winning all over the place. We have several of those right now, who over the last few years have just been winning and winning. Of course, also entering all the categories. But here's the deal, you don't know if you don't try. And when I entered my first resume writing competition, it was at a conference with PARW. God, I want to think it was still in the 1990s. I had no idea what my competition was bringing, because awards were only done live there at the event. And I brought with me what I felt was unique and special and validating about what I did. And yeah, I come from a technical writing background. I come from a creative writing background. I come from a university placement background, some weird areas. I love desktop publishing and art. And first conference ever, first place most visually distinctive resume. Who knew? Same thing applies not just to the Tories, but when you're looking at things like submitting to resume books when there's an opportunity. And a little bird told me I might get to do the ninth edition of Resumes for Dummies this year, which means an opportunity for members to submit resumes to be included again. We'll see how that goes. Um, with it being this year, I mean. Um, when I would submit to books, if they didn't have a limit on how many resumes you could submit, I would submit all my best fictionalized resumes because I figured they're going to like something. And that's how I found out at my second conference, that I had the most resumes in this one resume book. I hadn't even counted. I had no idea. I just knew, send 25 and woo, good surprise, I have 18 in the book. More opportunities for a job seeker to find me. So we don't put caps on anything with the Tories except for the requirement of membership in CDI. And we have monthly and annual memberships. It's never too early. Certification is a wonderful endorsement that helps give job seekers confidence that you really know what you're doing and you're skilled and expert and somebody else is validating that, and that can make them feel safe, and that's important. But it doesn't mean if you haven't achieved that yet that you're not doing something amazing over in your circle of the universe with resumes that might get you a Tory nomination or a win. So please don't, the worst thing you can do is to limit yourself by believing you're not ready. If your clients are being very successful, take a look, familiarize yourself. We have tons of great free lessons on the Tories, and we have tons of wonderful resume tutorials from past winners in our members section. There, and you can see all the winners out there to get a sense of the type of elevated language and quality. And honestly, I would challenge anyone because I know, obviously there's a learning path. The more we do things, the better we often get at them. But in absolute truth, we need to be raising ourselves to the level of Tory winners when we write for any job seeker because their future depends on being able to stand out and get opportunities against potentially professional resumes written by Tory winners. So, um, start focusing now on being the best you can absolutely be because it's a win for you and it's a win for your clients. All right, the chat is mysteriously quiet, so I'm going to move on to number 3. I love this question. I've been asked it, and honestly, every question on here I've been asked a bazillion times. I didn't pull these out going, these will convince them, because honestly, we do the Tories for you because of what it can do for you. So number 3, the same people win every year, so why should I bother? If I had a dollar for every time I've heard that or been asked that. So here's the deal, folks. All you got to do is go to the Tory winner page. And yes, you can only see the last year on the first page at the bottom. you can go back and add cascading down all the way back to 2000, and you'll realize that that's absolutely not true. The same people win every year who keep entering, but there's always new blood. I think last year we had 3 new people who had never won before win. I could don't quote me on that. It could be, I know 1 won 2. Um, but there is always new blood. There's always that quote unquote dark horse that comes out of nowhere and starts sweeping the TORI awards. There's always the person like Tiffany Hardy who says, I've won enough. I'm going to start judging now. And who knows when she'll come back. There are people who retire who make changes. Every year, there is an opportunity for 50 nominations from brand new people to get nominated, and 30 of those to win. And nominations, I'm told, can change your life if you really market them effectively. Please don't believe that the same people win every year. It's right there in black and white that some of the same people win, but they rise, they fall. Some years they can't enter all the categories. Some years they can. Some years they don't have time to bring it all, and others sweep them. But smart resume writers keep entering because of the ROI it gives them. And that right there should speak absolute volumes to you. Is why would they keep entering every year? Why would they do all that work if there wasn't some big benefit for them to it? Sorry, career coach Kitty over here is, I don't know, digging a hole to the other side of the world. That sound is distracting, but I don't think my mic is picking it up. So don't let yourself get tricked. You could be the next dark horse. You could be the next person who slides never seen onto the scene and makes a mark for themselves, or you could get just one, and really that's all it takes to be an award winner or an award nominee is one. But the people who get multiple categories and their names show up, it's because they enter multiple categories and they plan for this and they bring their best. All right. Chat's still quiet. Let me know if you've got questions or you want to just say hello, give me your name so I know who I am talking to. And we're already to number 4 of 6, going really quickly here. And this is more of a statement as to why the Tories aren't on the radar. And that's simply that I don't have the time. Like, why should I bother? I don't have the time. I'm already busy. Um, Wow, I just thinking here, there are so many different ways I could go with this one. And the reality for most resume writers is you're on a one-to-one situation. You're only as good as your last referral, which I don't mean that the way it sounds, but it seems like I see a lot of feast or famine, and that it's like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to market, and then the world changes, or you hit a valley and suddenly you're scrambling trying to build up that pipeline again. And the reality is, for any great achievement in life, somebody didn't have the time and somebody found the time. So who do you want to be? We cannot put all our eggs in one basket. If you're killing it on LinkedIn today, you might not be killing it on LinkedIn tomorrow because they changed the algorithm, they changed marketplace again. Um, just look at what Facebook has done to groups. People who are relying on groups are really struggling because Facebook wasn't able to monetize groups, so they really devalued them and made a whole bunch of changes that made it very a lot of new hills to climb for anybody who was using a group to build their business. The reality is that if this is your profession, especially in this day and age of massive fraud and all the scams that are going on in our unregulated industry of resume writing, um, taking the time to try to win an award puts you on the map in the way that nothing else really can. Okay, maybe you could write resumes for dummies, but you can't have it, it's mine. Um, but it's such a lower hanging fruit than having to write an entire book and market an entire book. Make the time. We only don't have the time when we don't prioritize the time. So you can start now. It's only May 28th. You have got until, I think I've got it further down here in my notes. I think it's July 18th or July 16th is the last date to purchase at least one category to be in, and then you can purchase it up to the additional 9, before the deadline is reached for submission, and the submission deadline is, like, 3 weeks later in August, so you have plenty of time. You just have to schedule it. You have to prioritize it. You have to see it as a non-negotiable. Like, for myself, submitting to books and submitting to competitions, I don't care if I don't get to sleep for 2 days, if that's what it comes down to make it happen, but much better to prioritize it and have it not end up that way, because the saddest thing ever is when somebody is like, "Oh, I got COVID, and now what I'd planned to do in the last 72 hours, I don't have the energy to do." Make the time. We all have the time for what we find important. Sometimes we just have to be creative and think about those job seekers that you've worked with. Like, I'll never forget the job seeker working 3 jobs and knowing she deserved better quality of life, and how we had to map out her time in 15-minute increments so that we could plan a job strategy around that, and the fact that she did have children. And we were successful, but you've got to have a need and a want and an understanding of what this potentially could do for your career and your visibility and those feast and famine cycles. If you should go on to get nominated and win. Yay. All right, chat, still quiet. You're all lurking. Okay, no worries. So, number 5, why would I enter when I didn't even get nominated in the past? Ah, be sure to go back and watch the prior shows, where I'm talking about a lot of things with the Tories that will be valuable in helping you overcome challenges and understand what works. But listen, not g getting nominated in the when you didn't get nominated in the past, blah, 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 sorry. When you didn't get nominated in the past, this is just a call to action. This is saying right here and right now, this is time to lean in and up your game. Again, we're not just talking about the Tories, we're talking about job seekers' lives here. And we want to know that when our resumes go out there with our job seekers, that they're built for speed, and they can confidently put them out there, targeted, of course, to the positions they apply for, and have a strong expectations of getting calls and interviews. So in my world, there isn't such a thing as, okay, if I didn't get nominated, it's not going away and going, well, I'm just not going to look at that. Um, they don't know what they're talking about. That's a call to action. That's a, what do I need to learn and do to improve, if for no other reason than to benefit my clients substantially? And that's why I said go back to the older shows, because the first show I talk about the 7 ways you win just by entering. Because when you tie yourself to the Tories, you're going to look at winners, you're going to learn from winners, you're going to want to look at tutorials and resources, um, from winners and judges, which are going to give you ideas and strategies you might not have had before. That's going to inevitably up your game. And honestly, if you didn't get nominated, the world is your oyster. You have multiple chances, and you're anonymous. The only people who know who you are me and are whoever is running the Tories that year. And we don't care. After 25 years of this, our goal is not to like expose people who weren't ready. Yeah, no, not at all. We care about your success, and we do this. We put on this low cost Tory awards simply because of the success it granted us and has granted so many resume writers in the past. So if you didn't get nominated, don't walk away and turn your back on this competition or others. Look to see what you can do to take that next step. And sometimes it's small. I can remember being at a CDI conference many years ago, and I had seen the resumes of somebody I knew and really respected in this industry. And I knew exactly what she was doing wrong that was keeping her from getting nominated. And just by pulling her aside and telling her, um, and she had the skill to fix it. It was just a marketing strategy in each and every one of her resumes that I knew was holding it back. And, she kept trying. And the very next year, she got nominated and started winning. So use it as a call to action, not an excuse to go away and think we're crazy. If you've ever seen my client success stories, which I've shared many times through CDI and that show up on A Competitive Edge, I'm all about clients being successful very quickly, and I believe the resume plays a role in that. I can remember being hired as a director of career planning and professional development. First, it was a business school, then it became a college and a university. And the 7 years that I was in that role, both full time and as a contractor part time, because I just got too busy to keep doing it full time, we were the highest placement rate campus out of 11 campuses in 2 countries. The 7 and 11 get me confused sometimes. So 7 years, 11 campuses, 2 countries. And when they hired me, I only knew about resume writing. I had a resume writing practice, and I did other documents, and I didn't even go into the realm of job search and interviewing and negotiation. And as they're shaking my hand, they were like, "You ever done anything like this before?" And I'm thinking, "You saw my resume." And I'm like, "Just the resumes." And they were like, "Well, you write a damn good resume. You're gonna learn the rest." And I threw myself into everything 100%, so that I could learn the rest and be the best. But the reality is, the resume is so tantamount to what your clients are going to either get callbacks or not. So if you didn't get nominated, call to action, baby. Let's make this happen. All right, chat still completely silent. So let us go on to my number 6, which is the final one I have, unless you bring any more questions to the discussion today. So, can I submit a resume I entered in a prior year that didn't win? We actually have a testimonial from someone on this question, or I should say that answers this question, because I have been asked this many times in the past. They didn't write it because of that. And it was somebody who actually had sent an email and they were like, "I didn't get nominated. Can I re-enter it?" And I was like, yeah. I think, probably even if you got nominated, you could re-enter it. My suggestion would be, how can you fine-tune it with what you've probably learned and changed since then? But I believe, and we can't I know I'm saying it in a recording, but we can't quote me, but on top of Kim Baker, who originally created CDI's Career Storyteller certification course and is an amazing writer and designer. I believe it was Marie Platt who said that, she'll just, if it doesn't win, she's convinced it should. She'll refine it and fine tune it, re enter it again. And she says, I'm almost positive we have this in writing or video somewhere, probably in the interviews I did last year, or she's like, you never know who you're going to be up against the next time. So we're not going to penalize you. Same thing with if you wrote a resume. um, I get asked, "Can I submit?" I guess this is a little different because I'm thinking differently. Can I use a resume I use for the Tories with certifications, like the Certified Master Resume Writer portfolio? And we're like, "Yeah, there could be some judge overlap, but, not a big deal. You just can't enter one that's won before. It already got the accolades, and you can't enter the same resume in more than one category." Although we've worked really hard to try to make the categories not overlap anyway. All right, that was the 6 I came ready to talk about, but pretty much if you got a reason, consider it to be an excuse, because the Tories are an inclusive opportunity for any resume writer, who again becomes a member of CDI in order to participate, with the monthly or annual membership. So Tories are open. I think they've been open since end of April, early April. I don't know. So you can jump over there, get started. I've got the URL here on the screen, careerdirectors.com/Tori hyphen resume hyphen writing hyphen competition. And You can also always get to that page by going to cdicareerdirectors.com and clicking on programs and going to awards. And I do realize, I see we got a question in the chat here. I do realize that I said I was going to show you some testimonials like I did the last two sessions, and I didn't do that yet. So I will pull that up and I'll also be able to show you on the screen where to go. But before I do that, let's see. Karen Adams asks, do you know how many people have signed up to enter so far? My first year entering. So Karen, the thing I will tell you, I'm trying to think how many people have entered. The thing I will tell you about the Tories is that, like so many things, it's a last minute kind of scenario. So we don't see a lot of people entering. Now, I did a special like I started last year. I'm pulling it up. That's why it's taking me a second here to see how many people have registered so far. Um, I did the same offer I did last year, which was, if you bought all 10 categories before a certain date, I would give you access to a resume, review workshop free of charge. And so we have a number of people. Let me see how many. I have to count them. Oh, okay. Woo, we have a number of people. 8 whole people have registered for the TORI so far. And that's 52 categories total because most of those bought all 10 to get the bonus. To give everybody an idea, 2024, there were only 48 people who registered. Same with 2023. I'm going down, going all the way back to 2011 to 2024. It's gone up and down. The highest ever, it was 70 once. Otherwise, I'm seeing numbers going up and down from 67 to 48. So it's ridiculous to me how few people take advantage of this opportunity. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you. Sharon has a video on the TORI page, so let me go over there. And I know, a little delay when I share my screen. So hold on a second here. All right, so I'm probably talking, um, I can see on my screen, you can see it, so hopefully you can see it. So I'm on careerdirectors.com, and I'm going to go to, of course, I can't see it. Yes, I'm going to click here, and yes, and then I'm gonna go to industry awards and competitions. So this is how you can get there without the direct URL. And I'm gonna go to the TORI page. And this is where you can catch those replays I mentioned. Oh, geez, Paige, what are you doing? Page is taking a little while to load, probably because it's got all those resumes on there. And it looks really, really strange while it's loading. There we go. Okay. All right, so anybody who gets dizzy, look away because I'm gonna scroll down. We've got examples of classic resumes and do's and don'ts for classics. We've got a direct link to the winners and jumping to the testimonials, the benefits, blah, 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 the 7 ways. Um, so down here to testimonials. So I've shared some of these each time that we've been together. So I don't know where I left off. I apologize for that. Um, and I can't get my screen to, why isn't my screen forwarding? There we go. All right. So Grant, just randomly, since it's where I came to, being a Tory nominee has definitely stepped up my competitive stature within the resume writing market. Uh, blah, 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 blah. You can see that. Marie has a lot of testimonials on here, but a client who is elated I was willing to take the job. I love that when they're elated to give you their money, right? Sharon, where's your video? Why is this being so weird for me? It's not. Oh, I guess I'm stuck in the testimonials. I must have popped them out. Ah, All right, hold on. Well, you know where it is, so I'm not gonna fight with it, but if I don't click on more, you can just see here that there are written testimonials, there are video testimonials. Melissa nominated and had to change her entire business structure because of it. Here's Sharon talking at a CDI conference on why you must. She sounds a lot like me. You've got categories, you've got more. Um, in there, and then you've got those member tutorials and all the free resources we have. So that's where you can go for everything, plus registering for the Tories. Okay, let's see if I stopped sharing. I seem to be good. All right. Karen says, may the odds be ever in our favor. Exactly. And the odds go up when we try, for sure. And Sharon says, it's sure the way to become known for excellence, then raise your investment to what is deserved. Exactly. What job seekers are willing to invest with you can go up significantly when you have a nomination or a win. All right. So again, Tories are open now. Last day to buy at least one category is July 16th. 10 different categories to enter in, all the reasons why, and all the videos I've done, and on that page I was just on at the URL you see on your screen. Um, so, you know, whether your business is going fabulously right now or you're working hard and feel challenged to ask for and get the rates you deserve, either path. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So locking in visibility, credible visibility of an award can be a really fabulous ticket for future success. Sharon says, yay. Yes, yes. She and I are old timers. Okay. Career Coach Kitty is trying to get in here now. Can we see Career Coach Kitty? Yeah, there's the tail of Career Coach Kitty. Okay. All right. Just remember, July is going to be here before you know it. So when we're motivated, we can move mountains just one shovel a day to that mountain. And that's watching video tutorials, going through your resumes, studying winners, using free resources and member resources to up your game, whatever. It's going to escalate your confidence, your client success, and hopefully land you a Tory, which for people like Sharon and I have been transcendent. So put it on the calendar now. Do not wait until the last minute and try to figure it out. So only you can ensure you take the steps to enter this year. And I'm here cheering you on. So I hope I will see you out there. And don't forget, just visit that Tory page and scroll down like I showed you, and you'll find all the extra resources. So you can do this. And if you agree, give me a yes in the chat. And I hope I will see you over in CDI. And I hope I will see your name popping up. Sharon says, I've been a judge, would much rather be a competitor. Yes, you rock, Sharon, an original creative resume person. But I know I'll see you, Sharon and Karen. I hope to see your name popping up this year, and anybody else who comes along and watches this. May added success be in your future. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone, and I will see you in CDI and see you flying higher every day.